Welcome to the round 14 team sheets and final trades video. It's George from Fantasy Take TV. So we'll go over I think it's 6 games this week. So one of the harder buy rounds. Next week probably be even harder. And you go over the Port Adelaide Geelong game, which happened last night. And as I recall, this Sunday teams are not out, but I'll touch on a few things. I think there's probably only one major one, which is St Kilda. Other than that, I think it all should be smooth, hopefully. But trades for this week, I'm not too happy about this trade, and I wish I didn't have to trade, but I've traded in Marich for Weddle because I've swung Himmelberg down back, and then had 7 in the forward line, 1 on the bench, 1 stuck on the bench. So this enables me to get 18. I think Marich will keep playing, but I think Buller plays tonight, and next week he plays against West Coast at the SCG. But yeah, I need to go early on someone, and they've got Buddy and Heaney out, so I could see Buller come out of the side for one of those two, but yeah, would love to wait a week to actually pick one of these, but I'm a bit stuck at the moment. So I'll go Marich. I think Buller will score more though if he plays, but if he doesn't play, then it's a disaster. So that's how we're lining up. Mullen got dropped. Steele announced he was injured, and then Sicily got suspended for 3 weeks, but he's appealing, so maybe false hope, who knows. But yeah, not a great start to the week for me. But yeah, VC Dunkley into, I think Taranto is my captain this week over Bont, but maybe Captain Bont, so not sure. But regardless, we'll go into the teams. So I think actually there's probably one thing I want to touch on. Who's the downgrade option this week? So there's Sheldrick, Winhager, Dev Rob, all the way up to Nat Fife, or you go all the way down to a 102 Marich or Buller. So Marich versus Buller, I think Marich has got a better job security, but Buller should have better scoring potential, but less job security. So if you can wait till next week, you probably should. Probably most people will be able to wait till next week. I think Buller is probably a high risk, high reward. So I think you probably want to do that if you're trying to get some extra points, because we're not going to need Marich for the year, hopefully, on field. And then Sheldrick versus Dev Rob versus Windhager. I like Dev the most, but he's a bit more money, and he's not DPP. So if that doesn't bother you, I'd definitely go Dev over those two. I think Dev has the buffer of, I think Fletcher might go out first before him, whereas Sheldrick has Callum Mills coming back in. And he might lose his mid-time with Parker coming in this week, but I don't know, I'm not horse. And then Winhager just has to perform, I think. I think I saw enough from Winhager where he could be good, but he hasn't quite put it all together just yet. And maybe that comes with a bit of continuity at AFL level, but I'm not too sure. So, I don't know. Winhager versus Sheldrick. Dev Robbo is number 1 for me, but probably Winhager just. But I think Sheldrick's a better player than Winhager. So, but yeah, Winhager will almost certainly get the time and hopefully gets a few games put together, unless Bytel somehow overtakes him, but they seem to avoid giving Bytel a game. So it's quite a difficult one, and I'm not quite sure on the answer. But then you're all the way up to Nat Fife. I think I've come around to the Fife pick a little bit. It's something that I think I said in a video last week I would have done it if I had heaps of trades, because that way the durability risk wouldn't bother me as much. But I don't have, for someone on low trades, it made me a bit nervous, but apparently he's feeling really good and has the inside mid role, split with a bit forward as well. So he can probably average like 80 plus and be a great cover if he stays fit. So I think it's a fine play, but yeah, it does make me nervous, his durability, if you're on low trades only. But if you have enough trades where you have other bench players that, rookies that can cover, then I'd be comfortable doing that. So Port versus Geelong was last night. I think Geelong were on top, and then Bruin hurt his shoulder, and then Danger had a collapsed lung. And when those two kind of went out the game, I thought that they just got destroyed in the middle and just did it too easy going to the forward line. Entering the forward line did Port Adelaide. So I actually think Geelong can make, I think they're top 4 quality when everything goes right and they're fully fit, but I think things kind of fell apart last night when the midfield did. So yeah, they're older teams, so it's going to be harder to stay fully fit for the year, but see how they go. And Jeremy Cameron's a bit out of form too, so yeah, hopefully he can turn it around. But yeah, not much to speak on Port. Sin got subbed off. Doesn't look like an option really. And on Geelong's side of things, I think Stewart was very frustrating. Owning him, first time watching him and owning him in many years now, and he just kept walking or giving away his kick-ins and then turning his back on them. So not asking for the receive. So that was a bit annoying, but he's got the 90 and tough game, not much pressure up the ground, which didn't help him. So hopefully better in the next coming weeks. Sydney versus Brisbane. So some debutants here, or one. Jasper Fletcher's debuting. I don't know much about him, but 150k. I think you just avoid at the moment. Don't know enough about him, but he's come off some injury, I think. So maybe he gets a run. I don't know. Lohman is a forward. I think he can play a bit taller. So I think he's in for Gunston, but he showed some promise when he played. Might have been last year. So I haven't done my research on him, how he's going this year, but before he did an injury last year, he looked quite good. And then Lester's back in the side probably for Rich and Gunston. Sounds like they've taken themselves out of the team for a while, so maybe open some spots for like Dev to stay in the team. No room for Harry Sharp if you have him. I don't really see Sharp coming back in anytime soon. I think their wings they can play Berry, McLuggage will come back. They can play Wilmot there. They can play Dev. Our Cheese here, he can play there. So I think Sharp's probably dead for the time being. And looking at Sydney, Heaney's concussion and Franklin is knee soreness. So when they come back in, I don't know. And then Jack Buller is here. So he's named last on the bench, but they've got McLean, they've got Amadi, and then Heaney and Franklin could come back in next week. So do they play Buller over one of these guys? I don't know. So I'm a bit nervous going early on him. I'd rather wait till next week. But I do think he'll score better than Marriage because he's in a better team, even though City aren't doing it as well. And two, he's a bit older, much better state league level numbers. So I think he'll go okay. Apparently dominated the VFL, kicked 5 goals, 3 or something. Sheldrick spoke about before, just looked alright last week. Just don't know what they do. Like, it's hard to trust Horse. Like, Horse in trying to guess who gets what mid-time is just, it's impossible. So, and you got Arnold here, must be close. Was good in the VFL, but yeah, looks like he's not playing tonight. GWS versus Fremantle. So probably the Himmelberg dilemma is here. So Kelly and Taylor in, a few outs here. So Angwin and Fahey out. So I think that's good for Himmelberg because Fahey can play wing or down back. I think he was mostly down back, and Angwin was on a wing. So they've brought in basically Kelly for Angwin and Fahey for Taylor, and then just trying to think what they do here. So they got the tools. So yeah, I think Himmelberg will be down back this week because Isaac Cumming is emergency, but I think they're easing him in. He's coming back from the calf issue. So if he comes back in around 16, that'll be interesting. Perriman's also down back at the moment, so he could be one that moves elsewhere. Fingers crossed if you have Himmelberg, but would you go Himmelberg this week? It feels risky. The comments made during the week were he'll come down to match committee and we'll do what's best for team balance. They see him as a defender. They want him down back. I think he probably wants to play down back. It's just they have all these flankers that they are trying to fit into the team. So a bit of a tough one, but I think he'll play down back this week. I mean, for the price, it's a bit of a punt. I think it's better to wait to round 16, given he has the bye. But yeah, bit of a tough one. So a bit too risky now. But I've got him and I'm stuck with him and just have to commit and hope he plays down back. But I think he'll play down back this week. But yeah, the tall's Riccardi, Hogan. Green can play kind of tallish. Brown's good. I think, yeah, the forward line, this plus Lloyd, it's kind of set, I think. But the 8th one is Keefe and what they do with him. Do they take him out of the team completely? Do they... or if they do take him out, do they put Himmelberg forward? So that's the problem. Or do they play Cadman, who's emergency? So... hopefully they just pump games into Cadman, even though he was probably down on confidence, but see how that goes. Sturt was looking good until the rain came down, but yeah, I think you just accept it was a dud pick from me, but Just very annoying that he scored 220s when he scored a 60 the week before I got him, so I just needed a bit more money, so it is what it is. I don't feel comfortable going Sarong. I know he said he's got an ankle complaint, but doesn't sit well with me, even though it's probably mine and he'll probably get over it. I don't like that, but that's just me. Fife should be a good option, but yeah, as I said before, a bit nervous with low trades doing it, but at the end of the day, he's just a cover player and buy scores, so I think he'll get you some nice scores most likely this week and next week, given the role. You never know, he could pump out a big one, so yeah, I think we'll move on to Richmond and St Kilda. Not much to speak on here. I think who was it? Mansell, they tried to get off suspension, didn't get off. So this is pretty much not much to tell for this game. I'm trying to find something relevant, and unless I'm missing something, just Winhager named on the ball. I think it's a good sign. Still playing through injury. I think for me, I just got to back him in and hope he comes good. So went to see the specialist the other day, but we don't know how he went there. He did the interview saying that he would play this week, so take him for his word and fingers crossed. So yeah, Winhager looked okay, named on ball. I think his role probably be the best of Sheldrick and Dev. Dev probably more wing. Sheldrick might spend time a bit more forward with Parker back in, but again, it's Horse. Who knows what he does? But I think they should give Sheldrick more time. But yeah, it's just very difficult one that I don't know the answer to. I think Dev is the best one though. Just more money, no DPP. And yeah, that's it. Wasting your time there. So Carlton versus Gold Coast and North and West and Bulldogs. So these are the Sunday games. So I don't really know who debuts here. So I do actually. Well, they announced that Binns will not play. Cunningham will play. He hasn't played for like 2 or 3 years or something. It sounds like Pitney probably plays, and Fogarty I think plays. So Newman will play. He's named on field. So no Binns. Fingers crossed Chincotta plays. I think Cunningham is 1, Fogarty 2. And hopefully Chincotta is one of the next 2. So yeah, I'll be trading Chincotta next week anyway. So my nose has been blocked for like 2 weeks, so I can barely talk or breathe at the moment. And Gold Coast, not much to tell here. I think this is good for maybe Atkins plays, I'm not sure, but given Farah is out, that's probably good for Atkins, job security. And I think that's about it. Nothing much else here. Humphrey named extended bench. Of course he'll play. He's one of their better players, and he'll be on my field a lot in the back half of the year, covering for basically every line. So fingers crossed. But I do prefer cover to be like a more established player, even if they're a mid-pricer, just because a younger player, I think Tuke will probably eat into Humphrey's mid-time later in the year, and he might tie at some point. So you just kind of hope you get like 70 to 85 every week from him to cover, and I'll be happy with that. And then North versus the Western Bulldogs. Zebo and Cheezel look like they're on the back line. I wonder if Hull is dropped. I think that'll be massive for both Zebo and Cheezel. I think I hit the panic button on... I traded Cheezel, but I was more than happy to hold just the way things worked out to get the players I wanted and bank money for the coming weeks. But yeah, I don't know if trading Cheezel was the right move. I think Zebo still looks pretty good. He could easily be a good pick for the rest of the year. My thinking was durability. I just thought he looked like he was playing injured or something, so just jumped while I could with a high break even, and I'm okay with that. But if you held, I think you'd be happy with what you saw. But I mean, for me personally, it was durability related. But yeah, I always panic on durability. Greenwood, Simpkin, maybe that eats into the time a little bit of the young mids for North. Western Bulldogs, O'Donnell omitted. I mean, this is all Bevo's favourites here. It's pretty funny. So, not much to tell on Bulldogs. So yeah, pretty quiet week at the team sheets. Hopefully I haven't missed anybody. Laith Vandermeer, I don't know how much he is, but playing down back, I think, so he might be okay. But very injury prone, so not sure. Libba named on ball. Not Libba. Daniel has been playing a bit of that on ball half forward role, playing very well and scoring well, and probably a top 6 defender actually. So looking pretty good. McRae's named on a wing, but he's been playing mostly forward, so probably better him forward than wing. At least he can roll up towards the ball rather than hang off the ball on the wing. So that's it from me. Thank you for watching, and yeah, let me know how you're going to go. I think this week we might scrape through, and then next week I think it will still be pretty tough, despite trading both the North boys. So I think next week Chincotta to Darcy Cameron, and that'll probably be it. Might get me to 18 with Chesser and Marich, so that's not really 18, is it? So just get through these weeks, and I'll hold Sicily, and hopefully Humphrey can cover him. And then I think my last 2 trades will be Ford and Johnson to toss about 80, 90k in the bank, I think. Maybe more, I can't remember. Get those two to a midfielder premium. I'd actually like Butters if he comes down a bit, which he is, so that would be the plan, fingers crossed. That way you can DPP, cover a little bit more easier. So that's it from me. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next one.